So we're getting Holy Week Part 2. Told you about Palm Sunday. Now I'm going to tell you about Holy Week Monday and Tuesday. Okay, ready for this? Let's go. So in the book of Mark, Tuesday runs from Mark chapter 11 verse 12 to Mark chapter 11 verse 19. Not a lot of verses, but a lot happens, right? First off, Jesus sees a fig tree with leaves, and then sees it with no figs, and he curses the tree. Keep hold of that. Leaves, no figs. Think about where that fits. Then Jesus goes into the temple, starts turning over tables. It says, "Shall my house not be a den of thieves, but a house of prayer?" Now, two things happen there, right? One, Jesus quoted Jeremiah 7:11, where Jeremiah says, "My house would not be a den of thieves, for I have seen it." But Jesus also fulfilled a prophecy of Malachi 3, verses 1 through 3, where it says that Jesus shall purify the sons of Levi. What was Levi? Levi was the tribes of the priests. What did Jesus just correct? The temple, the priests, the money changers. So, here we go. No shadow. But, so that's what's going on. Oh, look at that cat hiding right there. So, through chapter 2. And then in verse 11, verse 20, verse 20 says, "Now in the morning," so now they're falling into Tuesday, right? Or, yeah, Tuesday, we just did Monday. I just told you it was Monday. I don't know what I said a while ago. I'm not going back. Now in the morning as they passed by, they saw a fig tree dried up from the roots. And Peter, remembering, said to him, "Rabbi, look, the fig tree which you cursed has withered away." And that is also a name for this day, is Fig Tuesday. So Jesus answered, said to them, "Have faith in God, for surely I say to you, whoever says to this mountain, be removed and cast to the sea, and does not doubt in his heart, but believes those things he says will be done, he will have whatever it says. Therefore I say to you, whatever things you ask, when you pray, believe, and you will receive them, and you will have them." A lot of people like to quote that one. A lot of people do not quote the next. And whatever you stand praying, if you have something against anyone, forgive them. So the Father in heaven may also forgive you your trespasses. But if you do not forgive, neither will your Father in heaven forgive your trespasses. You got to get that anger against other people out. You got to realize that you've been forgiven of, and do some forgiving yourself. Now, Tuesday, Fig Tuesday doesn't stop there. Fig Tuesday goes through 2 chapters. It goes from Mark 11:20 to Mark 13:37. And Jesus is hitting the highlights here, man. He's talking about prayer, he's talking about forgiveness, he's talking about stewardship, he's talking about tribulation, he's talking about his second coming. He's doing all this in Jerusalem. He's out laying it down. He knows time's come to an end. He knows that a lot of people are there, and he is kicking knowledge out. Speaking in a ton of parables, even as the disciples are like, where's he going now, right? But that is the gist of Monday and Tuesday of Holy Week. Is we start with the cursing of the fig tree. We go into the temple, we're flipping over tables, we're purifying the sons of Levi. Then we come back and we see the fig tree is withered, and they start recognizing the power in Jesus, even over the elements, even over nature. And then Jesus, like I said, does a lot of teaching. The parable of the wicked vine dressers, the Sadducees and the resurrection, the Pharisees, and should we pay taxes? Jesus' authority questioned. What is the greatest commandment of all? These are the first of all mission commandments. Love your God before all other things. Love your neighbor as yourself. That's all on Tuesday of Holy Week. All on Fig Tuesday. Mark chapter 11:20 through 13:37. Ton of information there. There could be a dozen videos on this, on the different topics to teach on in there. But that's what's going on. Jesus is now teaching around the temple in Jerusalem and stuff like that. Couple days, we're going to be on Thursday, Passover, the Last Supper and stuff. Mark kind of skips. We're going to figure out what Wednesday is somewhere else in the Bible. Y'all be blessed. One name under heaven given to man, which is to be safe. His name is Jesus.